Hello all. This climb right here is called Rising. It is a 511A. It is located on the Bruise Brothers Wall over in Muir Valley in Red River Gorge, Kentucky. The first section of this climb leading from the start all the way up to the roof part is actually a pretty chill 5.7. However, my main problem is I'm not much of a sport climber, so sustained movement kind of gasses me out quite quickly because I'm all power, no endurance. Now, this route that I'm climbing on, Rising, the first time I pulled on it was about 2 years ago. I didn't send it at all, even from a take. I did not finish the climb. So really the goal of this Red River Gorge trip was for me to get my first 11A, which was this climb. Unfortunately, the first day that we came out on our 3-day trip, I pulled on it immediately, assuming that the 5.7 section is fine enough for a warm-up before jumping onto the 5.11 roof, which was a terrible mistake because I found out quite quickly that I get pumped out ridiculously quick on account of being mostly a boulder bro.
A Wii? Like a Nintendo Wii?
Because I'm a dum-dum, I picked the worst climb possible as far as 5.11s go for spots that I can kind of take a chill pill on, take a little bit of rest-a-rooski before moving on. For this climb, it's between bolts, I want to say 2 and 3 is the last rest you get. And then essentially from bolts 3, 4, 5, and 6, you're climbing through a roof. Now, right as you get towards the roof, right above where I'm currently at the moment, there is a pretty big shelf that realistically, it's this shelf right here, I could probably jam my entire arm into and rest on that. However, the feet on this part aren't particularly awesome unless you're laying back on the roof. And I have found out the hard way that just resting like lower on the shelf and hanging from it really just pumps me out really, really quick. So as you can see, I start to work through, try to hit the jug rail that gets to the first draw on the roof. However, got a little spooked, felt the pump, and decided that it was better to just back off and take. So that way I could send the roof clean. So instead of taking the fall, I decided to sit here. So while we're going through this little bit of video of me just resting, you'll get to hear about how on the very first day of us coming out and pulling on this climb, evidently the gentleman who bolted this route just showed up while we were pulling on it. The 2 permadraws that are located in the roof, well, he went ahead and let us know while we were hanging on it, and right after we had all taken whips on it, that those bolts are not drill-ins, they're completely glued into the roof. And they've been glued up there for 12 years. So that made us super, excited to be pulling on this.
All right. Okay. All right. All right, I am ready to pull it. Okay, Going for a clip. Okay. Okay. Okay, clipping. Okay. Okay, clipping.
Okay, well, that was it. That was the 511A. From what's been explained to me previously, the 511A section is pretty much on par for just a couple of V2 moves, which honestly I have to 100% agree with. It's very frustrating personally for me as a Boulder bro. It's very frustrating for me the fact that the 5.7 gassed me out enough that I couldn't do what's realistically quite a chill V2 set of movements. The fact that I had to sit there for a good hot minute and just relax, chill out, and then pull up into it was just agitating. As you can see here, the top chains are mussy hooks. Now, I don't know how you folks feel about mussy hooks, but mussy hooks are both a blessing and a curse to me. Low-key, I am quite terrified of them. But anybody who lives in the southeast will know why people are a little afraid of mussy hooks at times.
Okay.
It also doesn't help that the orientation that you come up on these mussy hooks in particular, it's easier to clip right to left, but you want to be clipped in left to right, so that way when you get lowered down, the rope doesn't get crossed up as much. Another unfortunate thing about this climb is the fact that there is a ridiculous amount of rope draw on the roof section, and there is a lot of rope drag on rock. It makes my my stomach do a little like topsy-turvy every time I watch the rope, especially when like I'm still attached to it, or another climber's attached to it and I'm giving a catch. It's really spooky. But as you can see here, I'm taking my sweet time, pumping myself out on the fattest jugs imaginable, trying to clip into the mussy hooks appropriately.
So I'm undoing the mussies.
And yeah, so that way I can kick off and lower fine. But anyways, there you go, everybody. Here's my first 511A. I sent a V7 like 2 years ago, and now I'm finally getting 11A. Not clean, but it's done. One day I'll go back and do it clean, probably in another 2 years. Okay, well, boy now.